Hi everyone, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back, or welcome if you've never been here before, and welcome to my April monthly wrap-up. Now, if you are new here, I want to go over the structure of this video because it is going to be a little different. I typically like to wrap up my books when I'm fresh off the page. I have found when I'm closer to a read, my insight is a little bit better, as well as my enjoyment is higher when it comes to sharing my thoughts. So in this video, I am going to wrap up, I think there are 6 books that I didn't get to for the month of April, as well as give you my monthly stats. I want to go over my favorites and all of the additions to my library in terms of the books that were sent to me and the ones that I bought, outside of what you've seen in my book shopping vlog. So let's just get into it. Starting with Lute by Jennifer Thorne. This is a folk horror. Lute is a small British island that is tucked away from the waging war around them. Its inhabitants are all abundant, they're healthy, they're happy, and we're following the main character Nina as she learns of what they call the day. The day where this island that gives them 7 years of bliss takes out 7 lives in exchange, which is something that her husband, who's from what I perceive to be like a founding family with this island, or maybe Stuart rather, he failed to mention this information. And so this was really atmospheric, almost whimsical, where the island is personified. It's a bit cozy, which added to the eerie element being that she does have 2 children, and so she's very level-headed and calm as she's observing the island literally like take out people, okay? I mean, it's like this odd sort of cult feel as well, and I ultimately rated this 3.5 stars. I still have questions after finishing it, and I really did enjoy like the atmospheric, whimsical, there's a bit of a romance in here, personification of the island, and there's a great cast that she becomes a part of by the end of this book. But I'm kind of fascinated, and I still have questions, and it's still lingering with me, I'll say that. So this is 3.5 stars by Jennifer Thorne. After which I read A Good Day to Pie by Misha Popp. This is the second in the series. This is a cozy mystery. In the first we learn of her, I've been perceiving it to be like an altruistic service, where she does have murderous pies that take out men that harm women within her community. Yet there's a sort of moral code to the magic, and she doesn't just infuse murder into her pies. They can elicit all kinds of emotions. And in the first book, her business is threatened. I loved the mystery when it came to that. But we also see how her public facing pies, because the murderous pies are an underground situation. So the pies that everyone has come to love within her community become so popular that she garners a position on a baking competition, which was so much fun. Like if you love the British Bake Off, any sort of television cooking show, this is probably going to be your thing, because I just thought it was incredibly hilarious. She's on this show, of course someone turns up dead, and she's trying to figure out who done it, especially since the victim is someone that she was potentially going to take out herself. And so this just captures the hilarity of making television, all of the different personalities and the secrets. And I think structurally the competition worked really well with the plot. And she's also a really fun character to follow because she's level-headed, she's curious, and she's willing to take risks. And so I just found this incredibly entertaining. I ended up rating it 4 stars. In terms of the mystery, I enjoyed the one from book 1 more, but this one was a lot of fun. So I will be continuing on with Misha Popp, after which I read House of Hunger. This was a dark gothic horror that was so vivid when it came to how the world was described. I really felt like I was in this book. We meet Marin, who's living in the slums, and she gets an opportunity to serve as a blood maid to the Countess of the House of Hunger. In this world, the nobles and those with wealth are vampires, and she does get her ticket out of the slums, but into something a little bit more grave, and this really follows her indentured servitude in this house and tracks what she ultimately discovers. But what I will say is I enjoyed the sort of like outrage of the perils of poverty in this book. And that lull, the draw it can be to play the game of social climbing, where the rules are always changing and the name of the game is always set by those that are in control. And I really enjoyed how she refuses to take the hand that she's been dealt in this book after a bit of growth. There are also some sapphic happenings in this. And I initially rated this book 4 stars. And then the book just kept growing on me. I kept staring at it on my coffee table and I couldn't get it out of my mind. And so I'm ultimately rating this 5 stars. And spoiler alert, it is a favorite of the month. Then I read Krantor's Mate by M.M. Wakeford. I have been obsessed with her novella BDSM series. This is her first full-length novel. It is an alien fated mate's tale with polyamorous dynamics. And again, she subverts tropes that I think that I know so well. This is following Martha, who is newly jobless and single, where the stars just seem to be aligned for her to accept this alien exchange program on the planet of Vin. Venorians are a humanoid and telepathic species, although Earth doesn't know that yet. And the nature of this exchange program is cultural. And so when she enrolls, for fated romance reasons, she gets paired with Krantor, who is the heir to his throne and cannot fully protect his people without his fated mate. Yet, he's very leery of that connection and how that could dismantle his very well-established polydynamic relationship that he has with his royal guard. I, again, love the fresh take on fated mates in this book. I also think it's a very unique approach to royal duties, and this has an HEA that I definitely think is gonna surprise you. There's political intrigue, there's a bit of action. Like, I had a really good time with this, and I'm constantly surprised at the sort of like hedonistic tone of her books, how open and sexually free that they are. The steam, okay, is hitting in this book. I rated it 4 stars and it is on KU, okay? And then before the novellathon, I read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This was an age gap romance where the hero is younger, and because I read historicals, I'm gonna say it read like a contemporary class difference romance, being that our main character, Alexis, is part of a medical dynasty. I'm calling it dynasty because I'm dramatic. And it really read like that. She is a part of a long line of world-renowned surgeons who are the head of the board of a hospital that's on the cutting edge of science. And this is not like a mantle that she's ever expected to nor wanted to take up. But here we are at the beginning of this book. I mean, she comes from stock where being an ER doctor is mediocre. Okay, that's what we're dealing with. And I loved the beginning. I love and really lean towards like a comedic, awkward and funny meet cute. This definitely has that. And so basically our hero Daniel rescues her after she's had a bit of car trouble in his very small town. This is a one-night stand where Daniel's giving off like, you know, hot chisel-bodied lumberjack and golden demeanor vibes. And Alexis isn't seeing this go past that one-night stand or how their worlds can really collide. And yet it does. And what I'm just gonna say about this book, my 2 takeaways were, 1, how emotional abuse is showcased as domestic violence in this book through the very coercive relationship that she survived with her ex, where she couldn't show her friends and family the bruises, yet she still barely got out of that with her life. And I really think that's an important conversation to have, and it's definitely within this book where her overbearing parents don't really understand all that she had to endure nor continues to have to within this book. Also, I really loved, being that Daniel is younger, how he teaches her so much through these acts of care. She learns how to take care of herself. Things that she, despite being part of like medical royalty, her education, all of the resources that she has at her disposal, the way in which she has this newfound view of life through her romance with Daniel and how she learns to take care of herself. I just love that. And this had a standout third act for me. That's the level of character growth and devotion that I want to see in a romance. This is also closed door, and I didn't miss the steam, which is something I thought I'd never say, but their chemistry and longing was so felt on the page that I honestly didn't miss it. So I rated this 5 stars. I rated it 5 stars, and I'm so glad that I picked it up. So moving on to my stats for the month of April. In terms of form, I read 35 books, 9 of which were audio, 22 ebooks, and 6 of those were physical. Now, the math is never gonna math, okay, when it comes to this, because I like to read and listen, and I loved to see that I had more physical reads this month, because the new form over here has been reading a physical book after work next to a candle that slaps to some lofi beats, okay, and maybe a few snacks. Like, that's been the vibe over here, and I think I owe my physical reads like going up to the library. I've definitely been checking more books out and like exploring the different locations and seeing what they have, and I feel like I'm picking up titles I normally wouldn't because I have to really browse up in there. So that's been a lot of fun. I love to see it. In terms of ratings, I had 10 5-star reads. That's almost a third of my reading for this month. I also had 18 4-star reads. This is where I get a better scope in terms of genre. I love to see that manga has entered the chat. That is a new obsession. I hope not a too expensive one, okay? I've continued on with the cozy mysteries and the thrillers, and of course, novellas are my most read this month since we had the readathon. I love to see all of this, and in terms of my 3-star reads, I had 7. No 2-star or 1 to report at this time. At this point in time that I'm sharing with you. Getting into my favorites. Okay, so you've seen a few. I'm gonna start out with Nobody's Duke by Scarlett Scott. I was obsessed with this and definitely agree with the sentiment that it's giving again the magic vibes. This is a second chance bodyguard romance with all of the angst, a tone of how dare you make me feel. Okay, I was here for it, and I cannot wait to continue on with this series because all of her books are on KU, I believe, but I was able to also find these on Hoopla. Oh, it was just delectable. I also have to mention From the Embers by Martinez. I got this recommendation from Caitlin at the Love Librarian. Okay, finally I picked it up. This is a love after loss romance where the hero rescues his best friend's wife, believing her to be his own. And they both lose their spouses. They're both struggling with survivor's guilt, parenting, they're roommates. This is their romance. And this just depicted grief in a very messy and angsty way that was really all external, and internally their romance was just so beautiful. I absolutely loved it. You've already seen House of Hunger as well as Part of Your World. I'm gonna add Sweat and Soap to the mix. Volume 2, I absolutely freaking loved this book. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think I talked about volume 2, so I'm just gonna do that here. It's definitely a favorite of the month. This is a continuation of their workplace romance where they're both working within different departments. Asako is in finance, Notori is in product development. She sweats profusely, yet he is captivated by her smell. And what I loved about this second book is that we get to leave the office. We're on a company retreat where up until this point, you know, Asako's been really insecure about coming out with the relationship because he has such a grand personality. He's personable, he's popular. And in this book, she gets to see a bit of insecurity, Notori not being so good at something. So it humanizes him in a way. We get some backstory in terms of Asako and like the bullying that she's endured, as well as get to learn where his passion for scents and his talent really comes from. And I just thought this is incredibly sweet, and I'm absolutely obsessed with them. So it's definitely a favorite. I cannot wait to continue because after this one, it's going to be their first time separated since Notori has been smelling her like he's taken a hit. And so I just don't know how he's going to be able to handle their separation. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I love Sweat and Soap. I'm so happy that I found it. Rachel from Rachel Reads and Sings has been singing its praises. I had to throw the pun in there. I'm sorry. So I'm glad I picked it up. And I think an honorable mention in terms of writing is definitely going to be Tal Bauer. I believe it was called Hell Is Gone. I'm going to throw the cover up. I'm sure you saw it in my 5-star stats. This is a novella that I picked up during the novella-thon. It is a Western MM romantic suspense. The writing in this was absolutely impeccable. I think it's some of the best that I've read, where I really clocked how the terrain and the atmosphere, the way that it's described, really mapped onto the inner landscape of the characters. And I was completely sold. I cannot wait to read more from him. This was just standout, and I have to mention it. I picked up Tal Bauer because of Robin from Paperbacks and Planners, and I'm just so thankful. So definitely an author I cannot fail to mention. Moving into the additions to my library, I have got to start with this reading journal that Willow sent me. Thank you. I could not find you on Instagram, and so I am going to insert the footage that I posted on there of me opening this. Oh my god. Okay. And it's gift wrapped. Stop it right now. Oh. The card, this is so cute. I love your reviews. Your videos are pure delight. From Willow. I'm not going to say your last name, your government last name. And I don't know what your Instagram is. Oh my God. If you are watching this, please DM me. Oh, gift wrap, you guys. Thank you for loving my reviews, because I just think I'm long-winded. Ow! I'm sorry. Oh, it's so late. It's so late. Oh my God. This is a reading journal. Oh my God, you got me this? Oh, we're doing a flip through. Thank you. Oh my God. Oh, oh my God. Oh my God. I've been wanting this. Willow, please DM me, because I am blanking. I don't have your Instagram. Please. I'm going to have to put this in my community tab on YouTube as well. And I'm late to the party. Hannah has had this out for a minute, and I finally put it on my wish list. And what I love about it is that it looks like it's hand drawn. Okay. I just was so insecure about setting up my own reading journal and like what it would look like, because everyone's is so aesthetic. And I just love how it looks hand drawn. Oh, it's stunning. It's stunning. Oh my God. I love it so much. Oh, stop it. I might even just use this for my favorites, but I'm so excited about this. Girl, you know what? It has 100. It has 100 spots, so I think I'm going to use it for my favorites. I am so ready. Thank you, Willow. Thank you so much, Willow. This is absolutely stunning and thoughtful of you. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. And I'm actually not going to be saving this for my favorites. I will be breaking this in along with a new series that you'll become privy to in a few moments. But I'm just incredibly grateful that you would even think of me to send me this. So thank you. I was also spoiled again by Cynthia from Kindle After Dark. She sent me 2 ebooks, so I want to get it right. Let me refer to my phone. She sent me Maestro by Adendar. This is a friends to lovers that spans across decades, where music plays a large part in the way that it is structured and told. I cannot wait. She also sent me the novella Folia 2 by Ruby Mejo. This is intriguing because Folia 2, I think that's like a shared psychosis. That's what I remember from my studies. And I think one could describe love to be just that. And when I was looking at the trigger warnings for, I don't know, primal and breath play, I was really excited. So I'm going to read these in tandem and in the order that she recommended, because she said I might need something spicy after Maestro. So I'm excited. Getting into the books that I've got for myself outside of what you've seen in the book shopping vlog, I got Resisting the Grump by Ashley Munoz. I saw that Cynthia had been enjoying her as an author, and Melissa on Instagram always gets me together on what is available for free. So I was able to snatch that right up. I don't know if it's still free, but I was able to get it on that day. Again, thank you, Melissa. Okay. Then after reading House of Hunger, I bought The Wicked and the Willing by Leon Yudan. This is a dark sapphic vampire gothic horror, okay, with a love triangle, and it has a choose your own ending. Like, that's all I needed to know. I cannot wait to read this. I got the ebook, I got the audiobook, and I hope it hits because I would really like a physical copy of this cover. I mean, it's just stunning. I'm so excited about that, okay? And as far as my physical reads that I haven't shown you, because I did have that book shopping vlog in the month of April, I was able to, I think I showed you like a clip of it, get Heated Rivalry, which is like an all-time favorite romance hockey. And this was not available for the longest, so I was happy to get that. I also got Hookshot and Blockshot and Kennedy Ryan's Hoop Trilogy, because I am going to be reading all of these in preparation for Book Bonanza, which she will not be at, but she will be doing a signing very close to that venue. And so I'm going to finally read this series. I am so thankful that Crystal sent me Longshot because I just wanted to round out the series. I got all the men on the cover. I cannot wait to get into it and break in my new reading journal. So that is what I have for this reading wrap-up stats additions. I think that's all I have to report. I want to thank you for joining me. Please consider subscribing and sticking around, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.